Welcome to our second review of the evening, and it's a game called Ah Love. Like, no, seriously, that's the title, with a comma and an exclamation point here. So it's more like Love.
I got the feeling it was more like, love.
Well, it's some sort of like the exclamation point. Well, denotes excitement. Anyway, so this is a puzzle game. It's not a block puzzle, it's a swapping puzzle game. As in, what you're manipulating are various rooms, and the end goal here is to get the two heart avatars to connect, and they're themed blue and pink hearts. The symbolism is pretty well on the nose, but it's kind of expected given the premise here. And well, there's no real way of getting around this. There's not a lot to this game. Like, I'm like, if you've played it for 2 to 5 minutes, you've pretty much played it all. Now, you haven't played it all because, well, it's like...
There are a lot of different puzzles, but...
Yeah. And there are also stage gimmicks. Like, one is you can only meet in a certain room, or you have to deal with spikes, or you have to deal with switches, that kind of thing. That does add an extra element, and they get mixed around. But, it's like this game was pretty dull. Like, it's pretty telling that, we all got a copy of this game, and we all stopped about the same point, which is about 15 levels in, give or take.
Yeah, they do mix things up, but between the fact that they have, like, all of it's basically the same, the hearts move the same in every level, the hazards that you'll have to deal with will vary, but like the biggest unique thing that this game seems to have to me is that compared to other like tile moving puzzles is that the hearts, sometimes you need to kind of get them into the right part of a square before you put the right squares together, because otherwise they can just be stuck on other sides of a 1 or 2 block wide wall with literally an open hole like 2 tiles north, but neither one of them wants to move north because clearly the closest way to get to the other one is to go try to push straight through the wall.
Well, the thing is, the hearts are attracted to one another.
I know.
So, well, the audience doesn't. So, that's where the manipulation comes into play. You got to get the right passages and make sure they're aligned properly. And it's worth noting that there is an optimal move counter, but okay, here's the thing, game developers. If you're going to do this, have that matter, because even if you achieve the optimal move count, nothing happens. Like,
you don't get any
at once.
Yeah.
No, you don't get anything. There's no stars. There's no anything for getting perfect scores.
Yeah, personal pride, but
yeah, it's like, is this a game where you're really going to care about that? I'm like, are you really going to brag about getting perfect scores in all 150 levels of All Love? Once again, no disrespect to the developer, but we're not exactly dealing with like a highly notable game that people ascribe to perfection here. That's just kind of, where the popularity prism lies. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of those games where it turns out we are the only show that has ever reviewed it. That's happened before, by the way. Like, developers have said, out of all of X amount of codes we gave out, we were the only one who reviewed it. So, I don't know if that's the case or not. I've seen a few videos of the game on YouTube, but nothing especially, you know, in depth. Like, and speaking of in depth, in terms of content, this game actually does have it, as there are 100. There's 150 levels spaced apart in 50 heart blocks across 3 cities. You know, 3 romantic epicenters. You know, the
One of them
first
is Paris.
Paris, Pisa, and Rome.
Because
Now,
of course.
Yeah. Pisa's probably the biggest surprise here. They went with that instead of Florence or Venice.
I guess it has a more recognizable, like side view.
Well, it's got that leaning tower.
Right.
So,
like
that's why.
I guess in Venice they could have done the gondolas. So.
Yeah. It's like. Anyway, the point of order is, you know, those are 3 love focused cities, among other things. So they're the quote unquote setting, even though when you actually get into the levels, they are, you know, mostly gray rooms. Yeah, for a love inspired game, the color palette here is surprisingly drab at points. Like, and, you know, and yeah, it's like, if you stick with this game, it's actually going to last you a fair amount of time. But the big question is, are you going to?
Is the game going to be enough to stick with? And probably not all at once.
Yeah, it's like, well, from our perspective, we're pretty much sitting at no. Like, we all got bored pretty quickly. Like within a half an hour of playing the game, and that's probably being generous. Let's see the music. I think there was music, but I think I muted it.
Yeah, it was.
It's one track.
Yeah, it was bland. Yeah. It was repetitive.
No. And yeah, not a lot to speak about here. I mean, really, that is the game. Like, probably. Let's see, pricing. So, at time of recording, this game is actually 50% off, and honestly, this is the price you should be getting it at, because normally it's at $5, $4.99. Currently, it is $2.49, $2.50. Yeah, that's about the max I'd pay for something like this.
Yeah, this is honestly like something you get off the PSP minis or something like that. This isn't really something I'd pay a whole lot for.
$5. $5 comes across as way too much.
Yeah.
For a game of this caliber. So yeah, there's nothing particularly wrong with the game, but this game also doesn't do anything particularly right either.
Well, and there are also much better games even on mobile that are more interesting puzzle games.
Right. So unfortunately, I go with dead average. If you get it, especially at half price, you won't regret it, but you're probably not going to invest the time that the developers clearly thought you were going to invest in it. Now, unfortunate, but it is there. Right, so after the break, we'll be back with a review of Overclocked.